Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. While the Western sponsors of Ukraine provide Ukraine with HIMARS, ATM, TC, Babi, Buba, and all these weapons, conventional weapons, Russia is deploying a new missile, a new ballistic, intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM. And they get it ready. That's a new one. It's a hypersonic ICBM. You know what it is? It means that it can't be intercepted by anything according to the Russians. And maybe that's the key word. So always keep, whatever someone tells you, well, keep a little reserve. So let's see what's going on here. And I think the sponsors are not happy about it. Why should they be? This article comes from Republic World and it is from today, December 19, 2022. I don't know about this avant-garde missile. Russia deploys avant-garde missile into combat duty, ready to go. What's this invincible, quote-unquote, weapon by Putin? Russia's Ministry of Defense has reported that the regiment with an intercontinental hypersonic avant-garde missile system has entered combat duty in Orenburg. Russia deployed a regiment armed with dangerous avant-garde missiles into service. The Russian Defense Ministry said that the regiment had entered combat duty at the Yasnenskoye missile formation in the Orenburg region in southern Urals, reported by TASS news agency. And I'm quoting, "Today, yet another regiment armed with the avant-garde missile system was put on combat duty at the Yasnenskoye missile formation, becoming a true present for the day of the strategic missile force," end quote, the ministry said. The Russian Defense Ministry said the missile system with a hypersonic glide vehicle will increase combat capabilities of the Russian strategic missile force. All right, let's see what is new Wunderwaffe is. The complex process of installing an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, took a few hours and was carried out with the help of a special transporter loader. The avant-garde hypersonic glide vehicle is capable of flying through the dense layers of the atmosphere at hypersonic speeds of up to Mach, brace yourselves, 27. Mach 27. So that's 27 the speed of sound. That's what, 800 kilometers per hour or so. About 32,000 kilometers per hour, everything together. Performing direction and altitude maneuvers and overcoming any missile defense. Russian President Vladimir Putin first mentioned the avant-garde systems in March 2018. Not good. In his 2018 speech presenting the avant-garde, Putin described the system as, and I'm quoting, invincible, and linked it to a meteorite and fireball. He said it was capable of making sharp maneuvers on its way to a target, meaning it is absolutely, I'm quoting, absolutely invulnerable to any air defense and missile defense weapons, end quote. And I'm quoting, the avant-garde is invulnerable to intercept by any existing and prospective missile defense means of the potential adversary, end quote, the Russian leader said, adding that it would guarantee Russia's security for the foreseeable future. Avant-garde is a boost glide vehicle that is attached to a ballistic missile, according to the Center for Strategic and International Studies. The boost glide vehicle separates from the missile at an altitude of approximately 100 kilometers and then maneuvers towards its target at speeds reaching Mach 20. This speed is not different from existing capabilities, as avant-garde and hypersonic glide vehicles in general are slower than intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs. What is new in avant-garde ability to maneuver, which makes it its trajectory unpredictable. Furthermore, Avangard's altitude of its trajectory also makes it more difficult for ground-based radar to detect and more difficult for missile defense to counter. Currently, Avangard is boosted by the SS-19 Stiletto ICBM and will be deployed on the SS-28 Sarmat. Oh my God. As it enters service to replace the Stiletto. Sarmat, not good. On December 27, 2019, the Russian Minister of Defense Sergei Shoigu announced that Russian military had successfully deployed the Avangard hypersonic glide vehicle HGV. So HGV. The Avangard is one of two systems Russia has developed that are, I'm quoting, capable of flying trajectories over the South Pole to approach the continental US from the south. Jesus fucking Christ. The National Air and Space Intelligence Center said in a 2020 report, the Avangard is, and I'm quoting, designed to penetrate the US missile defense system and strike at critical targets with a nuclear warhead. What can I say? The thing that bothers me is that the last thing here is one of the two systems Russia has developed that are capable of flying trajectories over the South Pole to approach the continental US from the south. Can you imagine how long they have to, what distance they have to cover to go from the south back to the United States? It's like the whole freaking globe. 2/3 of the globe they have to travel if it's launched from the South Pole. But how are you going to launch it? From where? Going to go? Why don't we use it when we can? Jesus Christ! I was like waiting for me, like, hey, I'm here, Emil. Hey, I'm here. Vote for me. Take me. Oh, you're here, baby. All right. So let's get. Jesus Christ! When you have it handy. So this is Russia right here, right on the north. And the United States is on the opposite side, right here. So Russia, United States. So instead of going like over that, which is basically what's going to happen in a war, in a atomic war, is going to be from United States towards Russia, the Russia towards, and not going to be across the Atlantic mostly. And then the Russia said, no, we're going to change that shit. We're going to start from here, and we're going to go what? We're going to go like this. We're going to go like this and then come on the other side and go like this. Basically, that's what I said. South Pole is, as far as I know, is right here at the bottom. If you know what I mean. Nasty. Anyway, so you got the point. There's Avangard. You can imagine how much it has to travel? And they talk about not having any more missiles, the Ukrainians. They're done with their Iskanders. They don't have any more caliber. They send you one of this, they don't have to bother with you anymore. But that tells me that the Russians are not crazy as they say they are, criminals as they say they are. I'm not saying they're not criminals, because some of them are, like, I'm pretty sure some Ukrainians are criminals. Why? Because that's war. But anyway, I'm just trying to balance it, because it seems like these guys are telling us, oh, the Russians are committing crime, they're the war criminals, they're the terrorists. Do you think that those guys are not engaged in anything like that? No. It's just about the proportion. And another proportion, the proportion is based not on the moral ability and so on. It's based on how much destruction you can do. Remember the Tutsis and the Houthis or something like this in Africa? Remember those guys? They killed, 2 million people in a few months or whatever they did, or a year or something, not even a year, with machete. Imagine those guys would have had a Western weapon. I made a video explaining that if those guys in that short period of time that they had, I used numbers. You look back in the history, my videos I made, I can remember 7 months, 8 months. I realized that the Tutsis with a machete in the, I don't know, 1 year that they fought, 8 months or something. You would prolong that and make it like a second world war in Europe, or whatever you want to call it, world war, wherever it was, the damage, if you get that, and the Nazis, their crimes, I don't know, 6 million Jews and all that, if you get that and compare it with the Tutsis and Hutsis, they would have surpassed that. They were, ugly to say, more efficient than the Europeans, with machete, chop, 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 chop. Instead, those guys were, having all kind of other shit, bombs and airplanes and bombers and and V1, V2 atomic bombs and all that. The Tutsis were fast with their hands. Okay, so anyway, the same here. Maybe it's just a proportion because of the abilities. You never know. Like, it was a study about ants, the little fucking ants. It was a study that said that found that suggested that if the ants would have atomic bombs or nuclear weapons, they would use the nuclear weapons in the first 8 seconds of their fight. Because they're very warlike, the ants. When they start fighting, they get so in the first 8 seconds. And we are like, oh no. That's how crazy the ants are. Anyway, this is informative. So, military achievements. And I'm pretty sure some people's balls are clinging when they hear about this somewhere in the Pentagon. Or they don't care. They have the ladies of the night, they have the whiskey or bourbon, whatever they have, and some Cuban cigars that still illegal for some but not for others. We are all equal, but some of us are more equal. George Orwell was a genius. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.